New development continues to pop up in Maple Grove. The former gravel mining area along Elm Creek Boulevard is making a rapid transformation. Delane Cleveland has an update on what's coming in and what's next for the village at Arbor Lakes.
Near the busy intersection of Elm Creek Boulevard and Hemlock Lane in Maple Grove, the village at Arbor Lakes continues its rapid expansion.
It's really exciting to see everything that's happening here. Certainly bucking the trend that we all hear about retail and that sort of commercial aspect contracting.
Not long ago, this was nothing more than a vacant plot of land. But in the past couple years, developers have built a strip mall and a credit union, and 2 new hotels just celebrated their grand opening last week.
The report is that these hotels are very well used, that vacancy is very low, and all indications say that that's going to continue to be so.
Of course, the hotel guests will need places to eat. In mid-January, a new Wahlburgers restaurant will open nearby.
Maple Grove certainly has a reputation of being #1 in the Twin Cities and certainly in the North Metro for retail, for entertainment, for dining.
Maple Grove Community Development Director Joe Hogeboom says the city sets the stage for long-range planning in this area. Every component goes through a rigorous approval process. So in the next 5 to 10 years, you'll see more retail, more residential buildings, and more corporate development, such as this new Schuler Shoes headquarters that's scheduled to open after the holidays. A marked change for a former gravel mining area.
Everyone wants to be here, and so luckily we have the space in our Arbor Lakes area. The gravel mining area is continuing to develop into the future.
In Maple Grove, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
A building is taking shape at one of the most challenging sites to develop in Maple Grove. The city has worked on developing the corner of Zachary Lane and 85th Avenue North for decades. And you can now see walls going up at the Arbor Lakes Corporate Center, which is at the site known as the Hilger Transfer Site or the old Osseo dump. Crews had to remove more than 150,000 tons of debris off the site, which meant there often were more than 200 truckloads of trash a day carted out. It cost more than $5 million to remediate the property, which was paid for through a variety of state, county, and local funding sources.
Which really allowed us to, get in and clean up this site in the way that it ought to be to bring it back into use. So, digging down 26 feet and removing a lot of that material over really about a 6-month period.
The Arbor Lakes Corporate Center is expected to be finished up by late summer next year. Holiday photos are a great way to capture family memories, but not everyone can afford it. Reporter Pafua Yang shows us how a Brooklyn Park resident makes sure everyone gets a chance at beautiful family photos.
And then did you want to sit and hold her and have them stand on the side of you? Right. All right.
With Christmas-themed clothing and reindeer headbands ringing.
Did you want a Santa hat at all?
Chandra Hopkins is set to do what she does best.
1, 2, 3.
All free of charge.
And some people don't even have photos to share with their family members. It's just something to make them feel like they're a part of the world and special.
Tirsa Scott's family had their holiday photos taken at Brooklyn Park Library. Anxious to see the new pictures, the family says they have special plans for it.
It gives us an opportunity to actually have a family photo hanging in the house. We could send to our relatives out of town.
Big smiles. There you go. There you go.
Hawkins also snaps spring and school pictures for families that can't afford it.
So I'll have the parents in the bag.
But capturing moments is only a small part of who Hawkins is.
I love to give to the homeless, for the people without, because I was homeless when I was younger for about a year or 2 with my mom, and we went from shelters and slept on trains.
Those experiences are forever etched in her heart.
3.
Hawkins now donates hygiene products for shelters. She also gives coffee mug gifts to moms.
Even as a mother, feeling like you're alone or, it's you against the world, I want people to feel special even in bad circumstances.
Because even the smallest gesture can go a long ways.
This is how I exist, because other than that, I feel like I'm just wasting God's time.
In Brooklyn Park.
All right.
Pafua Yang, CCX News.
Merry Christmas.
Chandra snapped photos of more than a dozen families during a recent shoot. And if you're interested in her work, we have a link on our website. As we enter the season of giving, a local organization asks that you consider picking up a holiday gift for a senior. From now through December 13th, you can find the trees for the Be a Santa to a Senior program at select Lunds and Byerly's locations in the metro. Ornaments on the tree describe some of the items isolated or low-income seniors in the area are asking for. Holiday shoppers can choose an ornament, buy the requested gifts, and return it to the store in a gift bag with the ornament attached. Home Instead Senior Care has organized this program since 2003.
Doing this program for so many years, I see what it does for these seniors, and the smile on their face is like that of a child. You know, they're just as happy to receive something and be remembered during the holidays.
For a full list of the Be a Santa to a Senior locations, you can visit our website at ccxmedia.org. You may have noticed a new play feature in some parks in Crystal. It's called Diaval, and it's a form of dodgeball played in an octagonal-shaped pit like this one. The main difference is in Gaga Ball, you can't throw the ball at an opposing player. Instead, you hit the ball with your hands, trying to strike your opponent below the waist. The objective is to be the last person standing. These particular Gaga Ball pits were made by the Crystal maintenance crew and installed in 4 parks. City staff say it's a good change of recreation.
Well, it's important to get kids outside just because of health and wellness, and it's just good to socialize with your friends and just to be outside and to unplug from some of the devices they may have inside.
Rules for the game can be found on the side of the pits, or just ask any kid around. Any kind of rubber bouncing ball will work.
We are into the second week of practices for local girls basketball teams. The Hopkins girls team is a heavy favorite to win another state title, and the Royals are excited to put in the work to get there. Here's Jason Malillo with more.
For the Hopkins girls basketball team, success starts at practice.
We always say that we want practices to be more intense than games, and I would say that always happens. We push each other really hard when we're scrimmaging each other, kind of with the hopes that we never play against anyone harder than ourselves, or there's no situation that we haven't faced in practice already.
The team that won the state title last season returns almost entirely intact, led by senior guard Paige Beckers. Beckers is one of 5 Royals who have Division I offers, which gives Hopkins a talent level most other teams can't match. But putting all that talent on the floor at the same time can be difficult to manage.
If they don't worry about all that external stuff, we're going to be fine. If they let that creep into their head or worry about their personal stats and who's getting touches and who's in the crowd to see who, then it can be poison. You know, I look at it and just kind of say, don't worry about that. Remember, this can be a really fun thing. It was amazing last year. Enjoy the ride. Don't let the external stuff bother you.
The Royals never seem to be a selfish team, though, and maybe that's because they follow a simple formula. Talent aside, every girl commits to playing stifling defense.
Well, as one of our coaches says, it's here and right here, and it's just all hard work and being willing to get up and defend. We always say it kind of comes down to what's in your head and what's in your heart. It's not about how athletic you are, it's about how tough you are. I think it affects them because they get tired, and when they get tired, that's when we really keep pushing them. And then our defensive pressure really frazzles their guard, so it's hard for them to bring it up. And yeah, mostly pressure and them getting tired.
The state tournament is 4 months away, and Hopkins certainly has a great chance to be there. But for now, maybe we'll just sit back and enjoy the ride. Jason Malillo, CCX Sports.
Hopkins' first game is Saturday night at home against Becker in the Breakdown Tip-Off Classic. Maple Grove, Park Center, and Wayzata will also play in the Breakdown, which starts on Friday night. All varsity games are at the Lindbergh Center. The Champlin Park football team will play in the Prep Bowl for a 3rd time in program history when they meet Wayzata for the Class 6A title. On this week's Sports Jam show on CCX, Jay Wilcox profiles Rebels quarterback Jaice Miller. Here's part of that story.
Miller had a very good junior season as a wide receiver for Champlin Park, but he's a quarterback at heart.
Last year was my first year at wideout, so I think even start of last year, I was I think next year I knew that I was going to take over at quarterback. I think all the coaches knew that was going to happen. So As soon as last year ended, I was already getting ready for quarterback, starting to throw a little and get ready for the year.
He's always been a quarterback, and he's just so athletic that we had to find a spot for him last year. And he just excelled at wide receiver for us last year, and it was great that he had that opportunity to play rather than be a backup in that situation. And his transition to quarterback has been pretty seamless. I mean, early on he'll tell you, things were moving pretty fast and he had to slow things down a little bit, but he's just gotten better and better throughout the year.
I think he's done a great job of it. He's really taken the lead of the team by just having everybody follow around him, and he's just done a great job leading us.
Despite playing with a broken pinky on his throwing hand, Miller had perhaps his best game of the season against Rosemount in the state quarterfinals, rushing for 3 touchdowns and throwing for 2 more. He was told to be ready to run the ball more with star running back Sean Shipman injured.
And Miller able to get through it.
And Jaice answered the bell, including running over a defender.
And look at his sideline getting pumped up. You want to fire up your team as a quarterback? You don't tuck it and slide. You finish the run.
Watch the rest of the Jaice Miller story and more on Sports Jam. It's on through Wednesday on CCX1 and online at ccxmedia.org.